Hello everyone, how you doing today? My name is Kenyatta. Welcome to my Zoom training video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a meeting. Before you can create a meeting, the first thing you need to do is to have the Zoom software downloaded and installed on your computer, tablet, or phone. The second thing you will need in order to create a Zoom meeting is your own Zoom account. If you don't have a Zoom account or if you don't have the software installed on your computer, you can visit this website to create a Zoom account, and you can create a free account on the Zoom website. You can also visit this same website to download and install the Zoom software onto your computer. To get the Zoom app on your tablet and phone, you just simply visit the Apple Store if you have an iPhone, or visit the Google Store if you have an Android phone, or if you have Android and you just simply type Zoom in the search bar, hit the search key, and then you just simply look for Zoom for Cloud or Zoom Cloud and just hit the download button. Now, there are three ways to create a meeting. The first way is to do it online through the Zoom website. So all you do is just simply sign into your account. So you put in your email, and your password, and then you simply click sign in. Now, once you have signed into your account, the first page you will see is your meeting page. All you do is click on schedule a new meeting. So you click on schedule a new meeting, and you come to this meeting schedule dialog, this meeting schedule page, where you will be able to schedule your meeting. So you just simply name your meeting. Let's call it business meeting. Now, the meeting topic, it could be any meeting topic that you choose. It could be a business meeting, it could be a work meeting, it could be a school meeting, a class meeting, it could be a webinar, whatever meeting that you are intending to have to host, that is the meeting name that you put into the topic. You can also put a description if you want to describe your meeting. Here's where you set the date of the meeting. So you just click on this little calendar icon and you pick your date. So let's say Tuesday, August 4th. And then you choose your time. So let's say 3 o'clock. And you can choose AM or PM. And then you choose the duration. How long is the meeting? So it could be an hour, it could be 2 hours, it could be 3 hours. Let's say the meeting is 2 hours. Now, something to keep in mind is that even though you may set the duration of the meeting for 2 hours, in other words, you may expect the meeting or estimate that the meeting will last 2 hours. If you go over the 2 hours, Zoom will not cut you off. You will be able to go to 2 hours and 30 minutes or even 3 hours if that time is necessary for the meeting. And if you expect to have multiple meetings, you can check this recurring meeting box here. So if you check that, then you see recurrence. You can pick your recurrence, whether it be daily, weekly, monthly, or you can set a custom recurrence. So let's say the meeting is weekly. So I'll just choose weekly, and then you can choose however many weeks it repeats. So it could be every week, every 2 weeks, It could be every 4 weeks, every 3 weeks. Let's say I choose every 2 weeks. And then you can choose the days of the week that it occurs. So right now I have Tuesday check. Maybe the meeting is 2 days a week, every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Let me just put 1 week here for easy illustration. So basically, the meeting is every Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then you can choose an end date. So you just click on the calendar icon, and let's say the meeting ends on October 1st. Or you can choose this one after however many occurrences that you choose. So I'm gonna pick the date because I like the date better. So let's say October 1st. Okay, so that is recurring meeting. Now, if you have a paid account, which I do, you will have this feature available to you. This is not available for the free account. This is only available for any of the paid accounts. Okay, which means that if you check this, you can have your participant register for your meeting before the meeting starts, before the day of the meeting. So for now, I'll just leave it unchecked. Okay. Now, one of the things that you want to do is to make sure that your meeting ID is selected to generate automatically. You don't want to use your personal meeting ID, okay? Because people can do malicious things to it. The bottom line is that for security reasons, you want to make sure that your meeting ID is generated automatically. You don't want to use your personal meeting ID. Now, the next thing you want to do is to make sure that the passcode is checked. Why? For security reasons, you want to make sure that your participant is required to put in a password for security reasons. So that way, nobody would just be able to join your meeting. If you require a password and you send it out to your participant, then you will know that your participant is legitimate because they will have to put in a password. Now, you can have Zoom generate a password for you randomly, which is shown here, or you can create your own password. So let's say I create my own password. I can say BM2020, something like that. You also want to make sure the waiting room is checked. Okay? Very, very important. This is also for security reasons because with the waiting room, you get to see who is trying to enter your meeting before they come into the meeting. And you have the opportunity to let them into the meeting or admit them into the meeting or reject them. So you have the opportunity to see who is trying to enter your meeting so that you can either admit them or reject them. What is the waiting room? The waiting room is a virtual room that when your participant join your meeting, they are put into this virtual waiting room, this virtual room outside of your meeting, which means they are not in the meeting yet. They have to be admitted into the meeting by the host, which is the person who created the meeting. That is you. So you will have to admit them into the meeting. In the meanwhile, they are in this virtual waiting room waiting to be admitted into the meeting, into your meeting. The good thing about this is that you will be able to see who is trying to enter to your meeting, and you can either admit them or reject them. In this section, you can determine whether the video is turned on or turned off. And you can determine that with the host and with the participant. So, who is the host? The host is you. The host is the person that is creating and starting the meeting. That is the host. Okay? So the host is the person that is creating the meeting. Since I am creating this meeting, that makes me the host of this meeting. And the fact is that the hosts have 100% control over his or her meeting. Okay? The hosts have all the controls. The host can do so many things inside the meeting. The host has the ability to do a lot of things with the meeting. The host can even control the participants, the activities of the participants in the meeting. So you can have your video turned on or off, and you can have your participants video turned on or off at the start of the meeting. In this section, this is the audio section. You can choose whether your participant joined the meeting by phone or by computer audio or both. I recommend that you keep both selected, that you keep this selected, so that way if your participants does not have a computer, they can always join in by phone. And then we have the meeting options. Since you have the waiting room checked here, I will recommend that you uncheck enable join before host. And the reason being is because by having this checked, this can come into conflict with this. What is enable join before host? It means that your participant can join your meeting before you join, which means that your participant could already be in the meeting before you come into play, before you come into the meeting. And that can be a security risk or a bad thing to have people just come into your meeting before you enter the meeting, because you don't know who's trying to come into your meeting, especially before you come in. Okay, so my recommendation is you uncheck this, you keep this unchecked, and you keep the waiting room checked. So that way your participant goes into the waiting room and have to wait for you to either admit them or reject them, and you get to see who is trying to enter your meeting. Now, once all of your settings is in place that you want, you can click save, and then you have the summary of your meeting title and your meeting settings. Now, the next step will be to share this meeting. That is to invite your participants or to invite people to your meeting. Now, I did explain what the host is, and I forgot to explain what a participant is. So, a participant is the person that joins your meeting. That's a participant. The host is the person that created the meeting and or started a meeting. That's the host. The participant is the person that joins your meeting. So if you're creating this meeting, that means that you are the host. If you're joining somebody else's meeting, that means you are a participant. Down here you have the option to edit your meeting. If you see something here that is a mistake or you want to change something, you can always go back to edit this meeting. How do you invite your participants, or how do you invite people to join your meeting? There are two ways to do it. One, you can click on this link here, copy invitation, to get this dialog box. Okay, have all the information in here about the meeting, including the meeting ID and the password. Well, actually, this is for the phone. This is for the phone. So the meeting ID and password, well, the meeting ID is the same, but the password is different for the phone. So this is for those who wants to join in by phone. This is for those who wants to join in through their own Zoom software. If they have a Zoom software on their computer or their phone or tablet, they can use this meeting ID or passcode to join in through the Zoom software that they have on their devices. Or they can use this meeting ID and password to join in on Zoom Online, the online version of Zoom. And they can do so by clicking on this link, which will take them to the online version of Zoom. They just have to put in the meeting ID and password and their name, and they will be able to join the meeting. Okay, so all the information about this meeting that you just created is in this invitation. All you have to do is just click on copy meeting invitation. Okay, so now it's copied, and then you just simply go to your email. So let's say I go to my email, and then I just put in my participants information, and then I just simply paste. Okay, it says Kenyatta Solomon is inviting you to a scheduled Zoom meeting. You put in your topic. Okay, you put in your participant. All right, and then, or you put in the people that you want to invite, and then you just simply hit send, and the meeting and the email is off. The other way you can do it is by adding it to your calendar. And you have three options here. You have Google Calendar, you have Outlook Calendar, and you have Yahoo Calendar. Now, since I'm using Gmail, I'll just use the Google Calendar. So I just simply click on Google Calendar. I'll pick my account. Okay, I'll just go ahead and allow it. Okay. So now I have my meeting scheduled into my Google account. Okay. Not only that, but I can invite my participants from this calendar to join my meeting. Okay. So once you create a Google Calendar for your meeting, you will be able to invite your participants or invite the people that you want in the meeting, in your meeting, from your Google Calendar. So all I have to do is just click on add guests, and I'll just simply pick a participant's email, and then I click save, and then it says, would you like to send invitation email to Google Calendar guests? Yes. And I'll just simply hit send, and now the meeting is in my calendar. It's right here. Okay, so that's one way to create a meeting. Now, before I show you the other two ways on creating a meeting, let me show you the settings. So this is your meeting settings. These are the same settings that is in the meeting creation tab. Okay, so you have the waiting room, you have required passcode, you have host video, participant video, audio type, you have join before host, enable personal ID. I would recommend that you do not do this for security reasons. You can enable the chat or disable the chat. And here you have this option to prevent participant from saving the chat. And yes, your participant has the option to save the chat. You can prevent that if you want. Okay, you can create a co-host. Now I believe this is for paid account only. I don't think you will have this for under the free account. This co-host and also polling, I believe, is for the paid account, not the free account. Here you have screen sharing, so you can allow who you can determine who's are able to share screen. It could be the host only, which is you, or you can allow all your participants, including yourself, to share screen. You have this whiteboard here. So the whiteboard is where you and your participant can draw certain shapes or point out certain things as you are in the meeting. Breakout room is like a small group room. I'm going to talk about this when I show you the Zoom software. So the bottom line is that you can set these controls here, and these controls will be set permanently. So each time you create a meeting, these controls will be set in a way that you want them to be set, and you won't have to keep setting them over and over and over again. Now, when you do create a meeting, you can change your settings then there as well. So for example, if you have the waiting room enabled here and you decide for a particular meeting you don't want the waiting room to be enabled, though not recommended, you can disable the waiting room for that particular meeting in your meeting when you're creating a meeting. Now, the other way to create a meeting is through your Zoom software. So if you have your Zoom software on your computer, which you should, or on your phone or tablet, you can create a meeting through that Zoom software or the Zoom app on your meeting on your tablet and phone. So all you do is just simply sign in. So I'm going to sign in right now. Now just simply click the sign in button. Now, once you logged into your account, you are in your account dashboard. On your Zoom software, you have these 4 options. You can start a new meeting, join a meeting, schedule a meeting, or share screen. So to schedule a meeting for your Zoom software, you just simply click on schedule. And this schedule meeting dialog will come up. So you can put in your topic, let's say business meeting. Okay. The start date, you can choose a start date from here. And I see that this is empty because this represents the past. And obviously you can't set a future meeting in the past. So I'm going to pick a date, let's say August 11th. And then I pick the time. Okay, so let's say 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock in the morning. The meeting duration. So the meeting duration, how long is the meeting? Let's say it's going to be 2 hours. And keep in mind that just because you set it for 2 hours doesn't mean that Zoom is going to cut you off at 2 hours. And let me say this as well. If you have a free account and you have more than 2 participants in your meeting, including yourself, so if you have yourself and 1 other person, that's 2 participants. If you have more than that, so let's say you have 3, you and 2 other people, Zoom is going to cut you off in 40 minutes. So your meeting will be limited to 40 minutes if you have 3 people, including yourself, in a meeting. Okay, Zoom will cut you off at 40 minutes. Okay, if it's just you and 1 other person, the meeting can go on for however long you want it to go for. It's unlimited. But the moment you add a third person, Zoom will limit you to 40 minutes and you will get cut off at that 40 minutes. I just needed to say that. Now you can do recurring meetings here. Okay, but I'm not going to do recurring meetings. Make sure your time zone is your time zone. So right now I am in New York. So my time zone is Eastern time. So make sure that you have the correct time zone for your time zone. So if you're in California, your time zone should be specific time. And again, be sure that the generate automatically for your meeting ID is checked, is selected. You do not want to use your personal meeting ID for security reasons. And again, make sure that the password is checked. Make sure the required meeting password is checked. And Zoom will automatically create a random password for your participants to have to put in order to join the meeting, or you can set your own. So I'm going to set my own. Okay, so that is the password that I set. Again, you can determine if the video is on or off for yourself as the host or your participants who will join your meeting. And you can choose your audio. So you can choose telephone, computer audio, or both. I recommend you keep it on both. And then you have your calendar. You can choose the calendar. So let me choose Google Calendar since that is what I have. And then here again, you have enable waiting room, which I recommend you keep checked. Enable join before host, which I recommend that you uncheck. Okay, you can mute your participant upon entry if you want, depending on your meeting. Okay, you may want your participants to be unmuted upon entry because your meeting is interactive. It could be a meeting, but if it's something like a class where you're teaching or webinar and you want people to be silent, then you can mute them upon entry. Okay, and then you can automatically record your meetings if you want, and then you just click schedule. So now you see that the business meeting is in your calendar. And again, you just simply invite your guest. You click save. Would you like to send invitation emails to Google Calendar guests? Yes, send. And your meeting is done. You have created your meeting through your Zoom software. The third way to create a meeting. If you need to start a meeting now. So this is a situation where you want to start a meeting right now. Okay. So if you plan on starting a meeting right now and you don't have any scheduled meeting previously for this moment in time, okay, for the present time, all you do is just simply click on new meeting. So you click on new meeting. Okay. And your Zoom software will automatically start. Join with computer. Okay, and then it says you are using computer audio. All right, and you notice my video has already started. You see my virtual background. If you don't know what a virtual background is, please check out my previous videos on how to set a virtual background. Okay, so this is my Zoom meeting which I started. Okay, and from this meeting I'll just simply click on participants here at the bottom, this participant icon. Okay, so I get this participant sidebar, and then once I have that, you notice you see my name and you see me as the host. So I am the host of this meeting. So if you created this meeting, then you are the host of this meeting. And all you do is just simply click invite. Okay. If you have invited people before, they will be listed here. Okay. But since I have not invited people before under this account, this is why the meeting, this is why this is empty. Okay. And be careful to make sure that this is not your personal meeting ID, because you do not want this to be shown to your participant for security reasons. All right. So you can either invite through contact, or, and then you notice down here the meeting password, okay, which is generated by Zoom automatically. So now you can invite either through contact or email. I'm going to invite through email. So you have your default email, which I believe is your email on your local computer, or you got Gmail or Yahoo. I'm going to pick Gmail. Okay. And all I do is just type in all the people that I want to invite. So I just hit that. Okay. And of course, they have the subject. Please join Zoom meeting in progress. You can change that subject. If you can either leave the subject as is, or you can change this subject. So let's say business meeting happening now, and you just simply hit send, and you just wait until your participant or participants, plural, join your meeting. Okay, so that's it. That is how you create a meeting. And I just showed you 3 ways on how to create a meeting. So, thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.